Hello everyone. Now that we put together some code to handle backend operations on a database, we'll focus a bit more on how to handle the front end. That is the user interface. We'll be using a third-party CSS library called Bootstrap. This will make it easier to create a responsive interface that will be suitable both for mobile devices and for computers. One thing to know is that Bootstrap uses a grid system to lay things out. Our content will be within containers, rows, and columns. All of those elements will rearrange automatically depending on screen size. A typical layout will be one where we have a sidebar with menu options. On smaller screens, that menu will turn into a drop-down that can be opened from the top of the page. For the page content, a lot of times we'll want to display a list of items fetched from a database. We might want to be able to perform actions on those items, so in that case we add buttons next to each one. Using PHP, we'll be able to add conditions, for example if we want only certain items to be editable and to have buttons next to them. First of all, let's look at our index page. We can see obviously that we're including Bootstrap. We're also including Font Awesome, which allows to insert some professional looking icons. We also have custom styles for the list that we're going to display on the page. The sidebar is collapsible. We have a button to toggle its visibility. On smaller screens, the side menu will be invisible by default and will show up when the user clicks the menu button. The page content is basically an HTML table like the ones we've used before, only now it's contained between Bootstrap tags, which take care of rearranging the layout according to the space available. For data access, we're reusing the CRUD template that we made in the previous lesson and combining it with our Bootstrap project. We're including the PHP files that we need in order to perform a select operation. Then within the HTML table, we're fetching our user list and then looping through it, creating a new row for each user and displaying the information in the correct columns. Let's now see what the database looks like. It's made up of 3 tables, and the main information is in the user table. We have 2 foreign keys, that is title ID and status ID. The title and status tables contain predefined pairs of ID and description. Here I have a script in order to create and populate that database. This will be included in the video description. For now, I only have one stored procedure that fetches the complete user list. But eventually, if we want to perform actions on specific users, then we can create new procedures that take in the user ID as a parameter. The avatar is simply a file name. In our index page, we fetch that file name and build a URL that we then use to display the image. For the user status, we use a switch case statement, and depending on the status, we display a different type of badge: success, warning, info, or danger. Notice that some users have details while others don't. This is an example of something we might want to verify with PHP, and then in turn we can display the detail button only if the user has details. As a side note, the avatars were generated randomly using getavatars.com, whereas the descriptions are placeholders taken from loremipsum.io. The links will be in the description below. Finally, we have a pagination at the bottom of the page. At the moment it's not functional, but eventually if we're expecting long lists, then we might want to fetch a certain number of items at a time, and possibly allow the user to choose how many items to display per page. This wraps up this quick presentation of our Bootstrap template. We'll be looking into more features that might be reusable, such as modal dialogues. For example, when we click the detail or the edit button, we might want to open a dialog box on the current page rather than opening a new page. I hope you enjoyed and benefited. I'll see you in the next lesson for more additions to the Bootstrap template. Thank you for watching.